Hey guys, how you doing? This is JP Saricolia coming to you once again with another episode of Age of Heroes, my podcast. And today, I want to talk about the split of Bungie from Activision. You know, the split that they have. They were partners. They've been partners for quite some time. I think since 2010, they entered into this partnership. And definitely it's been a roller coaster, I would say, for Bungie and also for Activision and anything that they have developed together. They have developed Destiny. Destiny, it's a game that, in this case, this franchise, came when the first one, Destiny 1, came out. Of course, there were a lot of hope. There were a lot of promises. You know, people were really excited for it because, of course, Bungie, one of the greatest developers of recent memory, was behind it. And, of course, the promise of really creating an open world, to constantly continue building chapter after chapters in a game that will last for years. Well, it didn't work out the way they promised and the way people were expecting. Even though there was a big following, you know, a lot of fans, very hardcore fans love Destiny, and I put a lot of hours into it. Of course, Activision and the way the Activision works, you know, as a company, as a distribution company, and the timelines, of course, they're the ones putting the money, investing the money into it, and they demand more. Of course, you know, they built Destiny 2. And even though Destiny 2 came and have fixed a lot of things, and I played Destiny 2, I played, I think, more than I have played Destiny 1. Definitely, there was a lot of things that were created that were great, but there's a lot of things that Destiny doesn't have right. And if you have played Destiny 2 on the PS4 or the Xbox One, you know that it's not a perfect game. Even though there's a lot of DLC, a lot of stuff that has been added and expansions. Personally, I can tell you one thing. It has never held my attention the way has never held my attention the way other games have done, or other franchises. And I think, a lot of it has to do with the way that, Activision has really managed the way they do microtransactions, which I talk about it in a previous, in this case, in a previous podcast. You might not have it on still on the list of podcasts, maybe too old, but you can find this in YouTube in one of my videos, where I talk about the microtransactions, the way they're hurting the industry, but the way they're making money out of it. These big companies, you're looking at companies like EA or Activision primarily, which are big companies that pretty much own a lot of franchises. So they distribute a lot of franchises with a lot of small developers, and they have built this where microtransactions have become the new thing. We're everywhere. So I think, one of the reasons about this split, a lot of people are very excited. And I want to talk about this split and how it affects you, or how it affects me, how it affects pretty much the gaming industry going forward. Bungie has been at the center stage as a developer of the gaming industry, and it has defined the gaming industry in more ways than one. Bungie was created back in the 90s, 91, 92. A company that was actually based in Chicago, Illinois. It moved now. It's in Bellevue, Washington. That's where the headquarters are located. It was in 2000 when it was bought by Microsoft and developed what was called, of course, Halo, Combat Evolved, which by many is considered pretty much one of the greatest games of all time, the first Halo. And of course, that created the follow-up. There were other, Halo 2, Halo 3, which are considered some of the greatest games of the Xbox era, Xbox 360 era. It really defined the first-person shooter genre, but also the way multiplayers were played. Many of the games of today, even the term that came out, the Halo clone, came out for everything that they put up, or they develop, and the things that they introduce into multiplayer, but also first-person shooters. it was Halo at the center of it. And it was always Bungie, a developer that in many ways have the freedom to move and to create and do as much as they wanted to do. And some of the best times, if you remember, I used to play, the Halo series on the Xbox, the first Xbox, and of course, Xbox 360. So I have fun memories of playing with Halo, Halo games, some phenomenal games. I wouldn't say perfect games, but they were very fun, and it's still fun to play. And Bungie, of course, have the freedom to do whatever. Of course, when Bungie is split, from about 2007, they split up from, in this case, Microsoft to do their own thing, and they enter in a partnership with Microsoft, with Activision. The idea was for in this case, for Bungie to have the freedom to do whatever they wanted to do. And even though they have the opportunity to create Destiny, and there was a lot of speculation. Destiny has been very rocky from the start, to the point that even though there's a very hardcore fan base, and I have a lot of friends that love Destiny and Destiny 2 particularly, it's not a game that really holds as much interest for a vast majority of people, even though it has a big fan base worldwide. So, and many of the blame has been put, of course, in Activision because of the practices, the way they do things, the microtransactions, and so on and so on. So this, really, the news that were, released today, and actually in this case, Bungie made the announcement in their own website, and in the official statement, Bungie said this, with Activision, we created something special. To date, Destiny has delivered a combination of over 50 million games and expansions to players all around the world. Following the 8-year run, Activision has transferred publishing rights for Destiny to Bungie, allowing the developer to fully control and publish its own property. Bungie further stated, with our remarkable Destiny community, we are ready to publish on our own, while Activision will increase their focus on own IP projects. So right now, as you can see, pretty much now Bungie walks away. Not only with that, they have now full control of Destiny 2. So people are really excited because this means a lot of good things. Also means some things that might be bad things, but also they may be a bit iffy. What's next? What's going to happen next? I can tell you one thing. I was excited when Destiny 2 came out. I thought it would be a great game, but, to be honest, it didn't hold my attention. It was not as great as I wanted it to be. I felt that it was just a missed opportunity. Even with all the expansions, it just hasn't really worked out well, and the way it is set up with microtransactions and all of that is really makes the game, it takes away from the enjoyment of a full game, of this game. But now with, now the Bungie, we have known for so long, the Bungie has always been very resentful with Activision for the way they're doing things. Now Bungie can dictate and desire what the future will bring, not only for this game, but also for Destiny 3 that was already on the works. And though because, of course, Activision kind of set the stage for it. Now, a lot of people are saying that they don't know exactly what's going to happen next. They don't know if, and it's very likely they will push the dates for the release for this Destiny 3. But on the meantime, there's a lot of, unknowns what's going to happen with Destiny 2. Of course, now it's under their control, and they're going to continue running, of course, the servers. It's going to continue being played up. So all of that is not going to change, but now it's Bungie controlling the release dates. There were a lot of some DLC that was promised that will come, expansions for this year for Destiny 2. We don't know how the release are going to be, how they're going to control it. But in reality, this really gives a lot of room to say the least, to Bungie to really plan out exactly how they want to handle this. And I want to point this out. Why I'm talking about this today, what is the importance of it? Well, the importance is this, we are coming into a new era in gaming. There was a time, where a lot of small developers, in order for them to produce and to publish their own products and IPs, they have to sign up, or sometimes they have to, sell their soul. They sold their soul to all these big companies like EA or Activision for them to control, what they were doing. They didn't have full control of their IPs. They were at pretty much at the mercy of these big companies and their CEOs and their pretty much board of investors for them to decide exactly what the future will bring. That was the bottom line of this. So this, no matter how much they tried, they were pretty much limited and controlled by the mindset and the culture of these big corporations. But now companies are taking control, and this is not the first one. That with Epic Games, for example, with Fortnite. Even though I hate Fortnite, well, I would say that I hate, I just don't like it. I tried it, but it just doesn't really call my attention. But the bottom line with Epic Games, that a great company also that was at some point was pretty much under the control of Microsoft, develops the Unreal Engine and of course Gears of War, which is considered another staple of the Xbox. But now, sorry for the cough, but now, of course, Epic Games with Fortnite is really pretty much the money just flowing. Fortnite has total control of Fortnite where they can do whatever they want to do, and they're doing whatever they want to do, and they give in fans, in this case millions, legions of fans, whatever they want. They have full control as developers and distributing their own stuff, and I think that this opportunity for Bungie is also the openness now. Bungie can take the same mantle and really push. Of course, when you comparing Fortnite with Destiny, of course, Fortnite is on a much better level. So some people are saying that the possibility of even Destiny to go pretty much use the same metrics of pretty much free to play are there. Although Destiny is developing a different format where, a lot of the stuff is you have to pretty much collect a lot of the stuff in order to kind of advance. So there's a couple of things. We don't know exactly how Bungie is going to handle this. Now, of course, they don't have the financial backing. They have their own backing. They're going to have to figure it out in order for them to be profitable with Destiny 2 or whatever plays come next and Destiny 3, which we know that right now, because of the situation with Destiny 2 and all the relationship that have with Activision that really, really, really murk the waters, to a point where people are not really keen to go back. Because I can tell you one thing, right now in my list, there's so many games that I'm playing that really thinking about going back to Destiny 2 is one of those things that I don't feel it unless there's something great that is being given to us. So I don't know. So there's a lot of no's, but on the one end, it's good to know that developers are taking steps in order to have more control, more freedom, because there's nothing more important than artistic freedom, and I know a lot of people are excited because it means that we are going to see more of this, more companies taking full control of their own IPs and being able to distribute themselves, their own product. We are coming into a time that is easier for these developers to do it because we're going into a virtual world with, in reality, the downloadable games are easier than just physical games. It's easier to find them. And more people are opting for, downloading games, which it really doesn't cost a lot of stuff for a lot of these developers that, having to produce or manufacture, this into this and into, and we see that, that jump, we're going into more the digital route rather than the physical route. So there is a time, and you have to keep your eyes open to see what's going to happen next, what the future will bring. We know the future is changing in gaming, which is good. At some time is bad if you're reminiscent of the past, if you like to look at the past in a nostalgic view. But the gaming industry is adapting and moving, and franchises are evolving. And to be honest with you, I've been playing a lot of games recently, a lot of great games. I love games. One of the things that I hate the most is microtransaction. I do hate the systems that are being put in place, which makes it so hard for people to advance in the gaming part, advance and to move up and, to progress. And you have to buy your way in, which is really disappointing. But it seems that that's the way. But there's hope that now with developers really selling their product, and you have to consider this. Developers, for the most part, are small companies that are pro consumers versus the big big corporations, the distribution, they are more pro investors, because for them, it's about, the bottom line is to make money. Every business is about make money. But most developers, they want to produce. They're gamers, they're young people who want to produce art, and they want the art to come to the masses. And, as developers, they have to find ways to be profitable as well, and that requires some management skills that sometimes some of these small developers don't have. But ultimately, their goal is to produce a product that people want and love. And companies like Bungie has proven over the years to be more pro-consumer than, the big corporations like EA or Activision. So in reality, this is really good news. Whatever way you split it or whatever way you cut it, they are good news in here. How this is going to unfold, we don't know. And, my hope is that this really pans out great for Bungie, but also for Destiny fans and also for gaming in general. Because to be honest, I would like to see Bungie to develop more games, more franchises like they have done, like they did with Halo, which I do have a lot of fun memories. So what is your opinion about this? What do you think about it? Did you hear the news, or this is the first time you're hearing about this? Are you a fan of the Halo series? Do you have any memories that you want to share about the Halo series? Are you a fan of Destiny? Are you playing Destiny 2? I would like to hear it. What do you think about this? What do you think about Activision? Are you a fan of Activision? Are you a fan of Bungie? I would like to hear your thoughts in regards to this matter. So once again, thanks for watching this video. If you're watching this through YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification button so you're reminded of the next video. If you listen to the podcast through the different apps, please share the podcast. You can download it. You can send the link to your friends. And consider just supporting this, my channel and the podcast through Patreon account. So once again, thanks for watching. God bless you and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.